Okay, so kicking off in match number 1. And we get to be on the play, which is nice. I'm going to snap this off. We have turn 1 Ancestral into turn 2 Dreadhorde Arcanist. We're not stone cold if our opponent goes something like force our Ancestral Wastelanders, which is also nice. And that's good news. I mean, look, it's not our best Ancestral ever, but we're now well insulated against Wastelands. Now, Sphere is fine. And this is actually pretty good because now we actually have a Mystical Tutor for our Shattering Spree. We have lands for days. I think I want Swords and Lavinia. What are we discarding? This is interesting. We might actually be discarding the Arcanist for now. Or maybe we're discarding Dakfaden. This is tough. Maybe it's Mystical Tutor? Let's discard the Mystical Tutor. This could be wrong. Like it does cut off our line for tutoring for Shattering Spree, which we were kind of keen on, but Thorn of Amethyst is fine. And I guess for now, well, I guess we don't really have any choice, but we've got another land on top of our library, which we're going to draw. Opponent still can't actually cast anything. And I guess I think we might cast our Dreadhorde Arcanist here. So Lavinia is kind of better against something like a Mystic Forge, but a Mystic Forge is a bit difficult for them anyway. Now, okay, this is a Golos. Golos is fine. He's probably somewhat inclined to get a Bajuka Bog, perhaps? No, he'd get an Urza Saga, wouldn't he? Urza Saga it is. You got it. So maybe we go ahead and Swords now. It's possible we were meant to time walk. Okay. So they can take us off a land here. Phyrexian Revoker is fine. So I guess we want to draw a land for turn so we can time walk. Or maybe we can just Lavinia here. So if we Lavinia, okay, no, I'm just going to leave mana open and I'm going to... We can get him to try and force a trade here with the Saga token. Maybe we go ahead and do that. And he's not going to take the bait, so that's fine. So he's going to create a construct. And then this turn, I guess we'll see what he wants to do. He might just grab something like a Relic of Progenitors. And that's a good reason for us to hold this Swords here. Relic of Progenitors. Maybe we don't have the option of holding our sword. Sol Ring, that's fine. Alright, I guess we're just going to go ahead and Swords this now. We're kind of a fair bit behind at this point. Okay. Preordain needs to find us another land. And we don't want it to be a basic. So this is why I'm finding it really hard to fight against the Urza Sagas, because they can tutor, they crop our graveyard, and it's really hard to fight the tokens. I think we actually can't win from here. And they just play through all their resistance spells so well. So it's a little bit frustrating. Now, what do we have? We have 10 cards for this match. So we're going to take out Ragavan. Ragavan generates mana, but I actually just don't tend to like him very much. He just tends to get blocked easily on board. Doesn't really trade with anything. Usually they can make a big monster on the same turn that you can make a Ragavan, so he just winds up being a little bit kind of pointless. Get rid of Gush, and we want to get rid of Gataxian Probe and Mental Misstep. So Narset doesn't really do it. It's hard to cast. It draws 2 cards, but it's very hard to cast. Gush, when you do get to cast it, usually sets you back land drops. And Probe doesn't give us enough information, and Mental Misstep just isn't fantastic, as it doesn't have that many targets. We should double check our blue count here. I think it's still fairly high from memory. 15, 21. So it's a touch lower than we would like. But I think all of our other cards are better. Alright, we'll go be on the play. And we'll mulligan. And I'm going to keep this and bottom. I guess it's probably Mentor. Maybe it's Lavinia. We can't cast Lavinia on turn 1, and Mentor gives us a better overall plan. So Preordain needs to find us another land. Alright, so we don't want the second Arcanist. So that can go to the bottom, and we'll take the fetch. And Wasteland is totally fine. Shattering Spree is a nice pickup here. And Urza's Saga's fine. Stonecoil Serpent is also fine. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and grab another red source here. I'm going to put an Arcanist on the board. I'm just trying to set up my Shattering Sprees, because what I really want to do is just try to wipe their board as many times as possible, ideally. This opponent's got 3 mana that they're probably willing to use. If they cast something like a 3-ball here, we're probably dead. Revoker is fine. Golos. Okay. And probably another Urza's Saga? Or is it going to be something like a Bajuka Bog? Or... okay, Wasteland, that's fine. We'll take the damage from the Stone Coil. Can we draw another land? Okay, so this is actually going to be lovely. What I actually might do for now is... no, let's go ahead and just nuke as much as possible. 1. Alright, so we're going to replicate twice. Golos, Sapphire. I'm going to leave the Revoker on the board. Maybe I should have... maybe it was actually better to use a combination of swords plus... because I could have swordsed... okay, Relic is fine. Alright, what can we draw? I think this wants to name Tolarian Academy. Or maybe it names Wastelands. No, it might be Tolarian Academy here. So we kind of need to draw a white source pretty promptly. If we draw a white source, we can probably do something fun. Alright, well we should have named Wasteland. We've still got a couple of turns. And I think we do have to force this. So what have we got? We've got one more turn. Okay, perfect. Let's leave Arcanist for now. Alright, you can have a Thorn. Alright, now I'm going to get a Mentor on the board and hope this is going to be enough. So I guess we want our Tundra. have stable red. We just want relatively stable blue and white. All right. So I guess we're... This is annoying. Is this Tabernacle? Tabernacle, okay, no worries. So let's go ahead and attack with Arcanist. Swords Golos. Make a monk. And see what opponent would like to do here. I'm actually just going to go ahead and pay for all my creatures at the moment. Until we've got something to do with our mana. That does not count as something to do with our mana just yet. So opponent's going to attack with a construct token, I imagine. So we still have a Tundra left in our deck, don't we? Shit. Alright, this is my mistake. I keep forgetting that Urza's Saga can fetch a fucking pithing needle. And I meant to fetch in response. That's a big problem. It's probably game over for us. This probably means I have to let Arcanist die. No, that's game. Okay. That's a shame. So this is the problem that I'm having with this match, because they just kind of get to overwhelm me before I can get on board. That's where I want my Pyromancers and my Meltdowns. So I made a few mistakes in there, which probably contributed, but also just Urza's Saga is such a difficult card. Alright, so let's get on to our next match.